We're coming back to the folks live from our rooms. I'm Zach.
And I'm
And I
Sean.
changed the intro, but it worked a little bit better, so don't hate me, fellow audience and listeners that we don't have.
That we don't have. Sorry.
No, it's good. The silence improved the
So
the joke.
ever since I got back from work today, my little sister Nikki has been like messaging me and been like, "Hey, when can I call you?" And like every time I've been free, she's been doing something.
Mm.
And so then I was like, "Okay, I'm also going to be like in a call with Zach." So like surely there's no way that they're just going to overlap no matter
Oh
what.
no,
Well,
no.
guess who just called?
Well, I mean, we can end the podcast now, Sean. It's fine. This is more
No,
important.
it's okay. I mean, whatever, I guess. Sure.
I mean, we're gonna be
Whatever.
going for at least an hour just to make sure that our runtime goes above your other podcast runtime. Because that way I know you love me more. So
She just said, I said, sorry, I'm recording Spice Nugs. And she said, you don't want me to be on it?
we always want her to be on. Why is she here, Sean? You had one job.
Hey, wait. Well, give us a second. Maybe we'll have a guest star. I doubt that she'll actually want to, but like we might give us a second here. Let's feel out the room for a
Yeah,
second.
yeah. So everyone knows, we are definitely not maybe getting a guest star in the middle of an episode. This is definitely not what's happening. We always come prepared to Spicy Nugs, and we hold our quality, our production to the highest quality there is. So
Let's see what happens here. Do. And you know what? Nikki will have some very deep and oh my gosh, she's actually calling.
I don't know if we have a setup for this, but I'm so down.
This is the setup. Hello.
Hi.
Are you able to hear Zach?
Oh yeah,
Okay. Well, Zach, Nikki can't hear you,
that's
but
good. That's honestly good.
I-
She'd
yeah.
lose extra brain cells by being here if she could, so it's for the best.
Nikki, what do you have to say for the viewers at home?
I have to say hi, Mom, because she's the viewer.
She is just that exactly. Thank you so much, Nikki. I can't believe the only time we've ever been able to get my sister Nikki on Spice Nugs to guest star is when she is in a different state.
Look,
I was like messaging you, and I was like, is this against mission rules somehow? You know how? And I was like, I got five.
Man, yeah. Well, great, Nikki. You really do have the worst timing. You actually do. I was doing nothing for so long. I've just been like doing chores, doing dishes, and both of you just terrible timing. Like
well,
as
don't
soon
put
as
this on
we start
me.
recording, as soon it is a little bit you, Zach. It's
No,
a
no,
little
no,
bit you.
no,
You
no,
didn't
no,
answer for
no.
a long time.
Well, no, I answered right away.
So I can't talk to my brother. My only day off as a missionary.
It's pretty messed up. It is pretty messed up, Zach.
Wait, I have to tell you
You're
something.
right. You're right.
Wait, what?
I have to tell you something.
Oh, okay.
Is Zach talking?
No, he's listening.
No, I'm talking.
Okay, he did just
Okay,
talk,
last
but
night,
it's
you
okay.
know how Mom got me? Okay, so for the viewers at home, which is Mom, so she already knows this, but Mom got me, she sent me a CD player for one of the holidays. I don't remember which holiday, but I unwrapped it, and I listen to Spicy Nugs every night now on my mission because my mom sent them to me. And guess which one was last night?
Which one?
I listened to one of them. Well, I listened to a bunch, of course, but one of them that I listened to was the one where it was my senior year, and Zach went to Chinese New Year with Clay, and you didn't go, Sean. And
Oh,
then they
yeah, that was
watched
so
my
good.
performance, and like the full first half is like you talking about how you're God and like Zach is your prophet, and like it's like so awkward. At the very end, you're like, wait, maybe Nikki's the perfect one. She's God. And then you like both start talking about
gosh, Zach's dying. Oh, that's amazing. Wow.
Spicy Nugs has officially peaked. We can now
Well,
end forever.
Spicy Nuggs is official. Zach just said Spicy Nuggs is officially peaked. We can end forever.
That was semester 2, I think.
Yeah.
But
That
it took
makes
this
sense.
long to get the reaction video. So
True. It took this long to get the reaction video, Nikki. Yeah.
the
I have
peak
another story. You want
content.
another story?
Nikki has another story. Okay, yes, we're ready.
So I just feel like this really fits your vibe of spicy nugs, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So today I called mom because she's going with her sisters and her mom later tonight, so she had me call this morning. So I called this morning, and then Cole ended up being over there, and like all the fun things, and Willem and Cole were there, and then everybody ended up leaving except for mom and Willem. And Willem came running upstairs, and he was like, "Mama, change my diaper," and she was like, I don't have any of those at my house, and Cole didn't bring any. And then he was like, but I pooped. And then she's like, well, I can't change your diaper. Okay, but this is where it gets really good because because he moved off screen, and mom was like, okay, well, Nikki can't see you when you're off screen. You gotta like come in. And then I was like, what is he doing? And she's like, well, maybe he wants to be alone because he's pooping. And then he like leans his face into the camera and has just like the most evil smile like ever. And I was like, yeah, so he's pooping. And then mom picks him up and puts him on her lap. And then he says, Bama, stop, you're smushing it.
That's so nasty. Oh my god.
Nikki, how have you never been on this show before?
With stories like that, she might as well be the new co-host.
I know. The secret third host of Spicy Nuggs? What the heck? Okay, well, Nikki, thanks for popping in. Do you mind if I call you back in like 20 minutes?
Yeah, that's
It's
fine.
actually going to
Okay.
be 50, but...
Rock Sean for a little bit, Zach. I hope the rest of Spicy Nugs is way better than what I've already contributed.
Oh, it won't be. Don't worry.
Yeah, I was gonna say it won't be. Yeah. That was the peak. All right, see you, Nikki.
Bye.
I cannot
can't-
believe that.
Wow.
The
That's how
poop
you know-
stories, man. They keep coming,
Man,
even with a new
that's-
host.
That is how you know, like, the kind of change that occurs to people, like, on a mission. Because Nikki would never have ever done that before.
See, it's funny you said that because I thought you were going to say that's the kind of change Spicy Nugs does to people, and I was and I was about to agree 100%.
This is the effect we're having on the world.
I just can't believe both of her stories were so good.
Oh my god.
She was somehow more prepared for this than we were.
than either of us. Neither of us were ready in any way, and she came in and saved the day. Literally before you started recording for the people at home, you were just like, "What do we have to talk about?" And neither of us had a dang thing.
Just like
Wow.
crickets in the background. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
Wow.
Nikki, for saving Spicy Nugs.
Shout out to Nikki. Follow her at well, don't follow her. That's creepy. That's it. She doesn't really have a social media, so it's okay.
Hey, that's the way to do it these days. Let's be honest.
I know, facts, man.
Well, speaking of social media, Sean,
Oh.
what I have to actually talk about today has nothing to do with that. So, how dare you bring that up?
I was
in
like,
my
did I just
episode?
give you the perfect segue?
You gave me the perfect segue of how not to do a segue, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Sean.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever have to read Ion for school?
Ion?
It's from Plato.
No, I didn't.
Well, this is all pointless. All right, we're done with the episode.
I-
everyone. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm about to give you the Spark Notes version of Ion.
I know some Plato though. I know his vibe at least, so I have some kind of background.
What's his vibe, Sean? How would you say his vibe is? Is he like hip hop?
I would
Is he...
say he's like Plato. No, not hip hop.
Yeah,
psychedelic.
Psychedelic. Psychedelic.
Because his whole thing is like the physical world is an illusion, and all that's real is far above us. Like that's his whole thing, right? Isn't it?
Man, I wouldn't know. I don't know Plato. I just read what he says. Okay, doesn't mean I understand it.
He's the allegory of the cave guy. You know the allegory of the cave?
Is that from Plato? Am I going crazy?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the allegory of the cave is Plato. It's him. I believe it's him telling the story of Socrates telling that story, though. That's the weird thing.
It is Plato. You're right. I had like a freaking moment up there, but yeah, I love the allegory
brag.
of the cave.
I'm a college graduate, so like.
Well, I'm not yet, so I don't need to know these things off the top of my head. It's fine.
That's true.
I got a little bit to go.
Yeah, you're building up to my level.
I'm slowly ascending.
Finally, you'll reach where I am at the bottom of the barrel. Finally.
Is that where all the bodhisattvas are? Beautiful. One day.
How dare you call me a bodhisattva? I am enlightened. What the fetch is wrong with you?
You're so selfish. So selfish.
I've just figured out how to let go of things. You clearly never could.
Well, now that we have once again butchered,
just tarnished
religions.
all of Buddhism. Yeah.
Ion. Yeah, back to Ion. Back to Plato. So basically, in this dialogue is between Socrates and Ion. And Ion is like a performer, and he recites poems and things for audiences, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Socrates, he does the classic thing of, he's like, oh, but what about this? What about this? Would you say you're this then, right?
Just
like,
being the annoying person that
yeah.
he was.
Yeah. Hate those people. Looks at myself. Because I am Socrates, everyone knows. Intellectual equal.
It's like a Scooby-Doo moment. I like pull off your mask and then it's Socrates. I'm like, what the?
This whole time. Like, I heard what you were saying about me.
And you're like, would I have gotten away with it too? And I'm like, no.
That's awesome. Basically, Ion, he is what he would consider the best at imitating Homer. Okay, who is like
the Odyssey. Yeah.
Basically. And so he was like, he's the best one at like reciting all his works and things like that. Okay. Sure. So Socrates takes him down this whole line of questioning. And eventually he's like, so one of them was like, they're talking about another work. I can't remember what it was, but he was talking about charioteers, and he's like, okay, well, who would be the better at being a charioteer, the actual charioteer or the person telling the story of the charioteer, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, obviously the charioteer, and this like goes on and on and on. But one thing that was really interesting is he gets to the idea of a general, and he's like, and basically, Ion agrees with Socrates all the way up to this point, and he's like, would you... Let me see if I can actually find the exact thing. Yeah, here it is. So he's like, would you say that the Rhapsody's procession, or the poem, like the reciter, is the same as a general's? And Ion says, well, I certainly would know what a general should say. And so he's like, okay. He's like, where is it? He's like, so would you? So he's like, so you would know what a general would say. You could give a speech, a grand speech, like inspire troops and things, right? Mm-hmm. And like, of course, you'd have to know all of like the battle tactics in order to tell these grand stories and poems about these wars that happened. And so he's like, so he asks, he's like, so anyone who is a good Rhapsody turns out to be a good general too? And Ion says, certainly, Socrates. And so then he does it the other way. He's like, so it also follows that anyone who turns out to be a good general is also a good rhapsode too. And Ion says, no, this time I don't agree. So so basically, and they go through this whole thing, but and Socrates basically corners Ion, and Ion refuses to say that he could not be a good general. Like, he refuses to give this up.
Right.
And so Socrates asks, he's like, are you also a general? Are you the best in Greece? And he says, certainly. That too I learned from Homer's poetry.
Whoa.
Let's see, and he says, then why in heaven's name, Ion, when you're the both at best a general and poetry in Greece, do you go around the country not giving commands to troops? Do you not think that there is a need for generals, basically? And Ion says, in my city is governed and commanded by you. We don't need a general. That's his response. But basically, this whole thing goes, and he keeps asking, like, who would be better, this or this, and they agree all the way up to this moment. And Ion cannot say that he would not be a good general or the greatest general because he's the greatest at reciting Homer. I found this so strange that these two could like agree on everything until this moment where I was like, he refused to drop this. And so basically Socrates corners him to say, he's like, yes, I am the greatest general in Greece.
Wow.
I read this for just our assignment for reading, and I was like, what in the world? I'm like, just because you can recite Homer, like, why would you think you could be a good general? Why is he so stuck on this? I don't know, do you have any, like, just initial thoughts on that, or?
Well, it's good that you've come to this now instead of way before, because last semester I took 2 history classes where I read Plato and Socrates, and I went through
Sean,
a lot of the Greek guys.
Are you a great general?
Yes.
Are you the greatest general?
Because let me tell you, I read the Odyssey. I read the
Iliad. He knows.
To be fair, I didn't read all of it. But I'd still say I'm probably the greatest.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
No, it's such. It was interesting learning about Greek culture and thought, because this is what Socrates was all about. His whole thing was cornering people, like you said, and getting them to contradict themselves, and then forcing them to pay attention to those contradictions and be like, what is wrong with what we're doing in our society? So a lot of, like, I can see it here. Going back to the allegory of the cave, maybe I'll give a quick rundown of that for people at home. Basically, there's people trapped in a cave. It's completely dark. Their necks are chained against the wall. They can't look around. All they can see is the shadows on the cave wall. And to them, the shadows are the real world. That's everything. They hear echoes coming from outside, and they think the echoes around them are the people of the cave talking. But then a person might escape the cave and see the true real world. And if they ever tried to go back and tell the other people, they wouldn't be believed that that's the real world. That's like a very watered down version of it. But basically the idea being like, okay, we're in this world that we think we understand everything. But what if we don't? That's like Socrates in a nutshell, I feel like. What if we don't understand everything? Let's question that. Let's think about that. You think you're the greatest general. Let's question that. Like, why would you think that? Why are we so stuck in this idea of this cycle of whatever? Yeah. So that's what it makes me think of initially, at the very least.
Yeah, so Socrates in the Ion is basically like going after Ion. He's the whole point he's like trying to say is like, are you actually a master of this profession, excuse me, or are you like possessed by the divine? And that's when we get to the very end. And it's a little long. I'm going to read it because I think it needs the context of it. Basically, he says, if you're really a master of your subject, and if, as I said earlier, you're cheating me of the demonstration you promised about Homer, then you're doing me a wrong. but if you're not a master of your subject, if you're possessed by a divine gift from Homer, so that you may make many lovely speeches about the poet without knowing anything, as I said about you, then you're not doing me a wrong. So choose. How do you want us to think of you? As a man who does wrong, or as someone divine? Obviously, Ion answers, there's a great difference, Socrates. It's much lovelier to be thought of as divine. So Socrates responds, then that is how we'll think of you, Ion, the lovelier way. It's as someone divine and not as a master of a profession, that you are a singer of Homer's praises. What's really interesting is that Socrates also kind of attacks other like forms of art. And he brings up this idea of a bed to further prove his point of being a master at something. Basically, he's saying like if you to truly be a master of something, you must do that thing, like, and like nobody else could. Like it would be up to the bed maker to know what makes a good bed, right? Being a master of that.
Right.
So they bring up this thing with the bed, and he asks. So he says there's three types of beds in the world. One that is like the idea of a bed, and which must be thought of by God, because he was the first one who could come up with the idea of a bed. So the exists the idea of a bed. Then he brings up the second, which is a painter. And a painter would be able to paint a bed. And then there's actually the bed maker, who would be able to actually create a bed. And he basically, again, kind of corners Ion into this, where I hope that's in this reading and not the second reading. Good. If it's not in the Ion, comment down below that I'm stupid. This is all top of my head.
I'm sure everyone will call you out.
Oh yeah. But basically, he is like who would does the painter is a painter of a bed a master of that profession? Like would he know more about a bed than the bed maker would?
Yeah.
And like the Ion is full of all of this. Basically, it's like what is the master of a profession and so on. And I thought that's like really interesting because like there's a whole idea of like, I feel like especially now it's like people think like, well, I don't have to be a doctor to know that this is bad for you, or I don't have to be this to know this. I feel like that's actually really common these days, and it just kind of got me thinking of like, what are your thoughts on that? And like, because I'm not exactly sure how I fall into that. In a way, I do agree that like, maybe we should be taking advice from the master of a profession, but at the same time, I don't necessarily think you need to be a master of a profession to like understand and appreciate something.
Yeah. I have a couple of thoughts come to mind. The first is a video I watched. Oh man, I wish I remembered. It was about a psychological phenomenon. There's no way I'll find it. It's fine. But basically the idea is the less someone knows about something, often like they will answer questions as if they know a lot about it. They'll be very confident in their knowledge of things. Whereas it's vice versa for people who know a lot of things about something, they will underestimate their own knowledge of it. And in the video, they drew two circles. One was very small and one was very big. And they were like, so each circle is like the amount of knowledge about something, like let's say music, for example. Someone who knows very little about music, the edge of the circle is the edge of their knowledge, right? And so they don't know how much they don't know. Right. So because of that, they assume they know more than they do. Whereas someone with a larger circle, there's much more for them to know that they don't know.
Right.
And so I see this in like this idea that like an artist, like a guy who recites Homer, like he says, oh, I understand stuff about being a general because I've been reciting Homer all this time. Well, that's the point of view of a guy who was writing poetry. Maybe not necessarily. I don't think we know much about Homer. We don't even know if he's real necessarily. I'm not certain. And so like, is that from the point of view from a real general, or is it a much more flowery, romanticized idea of what a general would be, right? It's easy to say like you understand something when you don't know how much you don't understand.
Right. I like that way of looking at it a lot, actually. It's like I've I wish I had like an example of it, which I don't off the top of my head, but um I think I feel like I've even seen this in my like just course through college. Like the more classes I have, like yes, I understand what like I'm being taught in this class, and like I understand how it applies. But then there's always like it's like you have that like yeah, but this leads into this, and like I haven't learned anything about this, and you're always like this entire another branch of knowledge you haven't even touched. Um, so like just being aware of that you, it's like what is that? It's like all I know is that I know nothing or something like that, right?
Yes, yeah. That's super Socrates. That's in the Apology where he's like, I am the only wise one here because I'm the only one who will admit that I'm not wise. That's like his whole thing in the Apology. That's like I read that like twice through college because it's like it's hit upon. It's just like the only way you can truly be wise is because I'm the only one who will admit that I am not that.
Mm.
And everybody else is too proud to not say that. Um, the other thought I had though on the general idea is just that like
The general idea. Sorry.
let's go. Okay. Is that I don't know. I don't know how to say this. Because it feels a little hypocritical to say because of what we're doing.
It's call me out. It's fine.
No, it's
Him
it's
with
both of us. Well, in our day, in our modern day, we have access to so much information, right?
Right.
Through the internet, through everything, right? We also have access to share information more than ever, right? And because of that, people like Ion, who might be very talented in performing and speaking, will get a spotlight and people will pay attention to them because they're good at speaking. Whereas someone who is a master in whatever field might not get that spotlight. And so the more accurate information gets buried beneath all of the noise of the content and the entertainment. You know what I mean?
That's really interesting. I feel like yes. I feel like that happens a lot actually. Like especially right now. It's like whoever is like you go to like just see how many like false stories get shared around just because like person saying it is either like attractive or they present it in some interesting way or some funny way, right? And it just kind of spreads, and then it's like, and then you find out a week later, you're like, yeah, that was a lie. Like, have you seen the image that went around? It was like a short little video that went around about someone who like thought they filmed a giant on a mountain.
No.
And then it's like a freaking radio tower or something. But like there are legit people who believe this is a legit giant.
Huh.
And that the only reason that tower is there now on Google Earth is because it's a cover up. So Sean, as the greatest general on this earth,
Yep, that's me.
surely you would have seen a giant. So could you settle this once and for all? Because like you are a master on this subject, I would assume.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Have you
Well,
ever
I'm a
fought a
master.
giant?
Let me get to you. Let me make it crystal clear to you.
Okay,
I got my college certificate in the mail this weekend.
Ooh.
And it says I am a BS in psychology. And I'll tell you what, I got more BS than anybody else does. So let me give it to you straight. That giant is real. And it is being covered up by Google.
No.
And through the government. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to be, they want you under their thumb. They want you comfortable. They don't want you to realize how much danger we're constantly in. I've got my men out there fighting, other words like that make sense for a general to say. They're on the front lines, shooting guns probably, and they're trying to keep these giants down, but they're tough. They're tough giants. You know the thing about them? They're big. They're really big. So they're hard to kill. That's the thing about them. That's pretty much the only thing about them, actually.
Thank you for enlightening me from my ignorance. You truly are a master of your profession, and I will never doubt you ever again.
I'm now wearing 2 ties. I have my I know everything, and I'm a really good general tie.
Well, Sean, thank you for being the general that this world needs right now, even though we
No,
probably don't deserve you.
What I want to say is thank you to the people who are supporting me. I don't know where I'd be without you guys. Actually, I do know. I don't care about you, but you don't know where you'd be without me.
Thank you all so much for watching. I'm so sorry.
I'm still shocked.
Bye-bye.
It's very big, 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 big water. It's very big, 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 big water. It's deep and dark and dangerous, scary and mysterious. In that big water.
Yes, that's exactly what I miss. I do miss my
Okay.
voice. Sorry, I was
Understand.
starting the recording and just.
No, I mean, do whatever you want to. I mean,
Oh, I will.
I-
Don't worry, it's fine.
if you feel like the only way you can talk to me is through the lens of a podcast, that's fine, you know. But I just want you to know that I'm here as your friend as well.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say friend, but I mean, you're definitely here. Got it.
What the heck, man?
I mean, I was gonna say lovers, but
I mean, I wouldn't go that far.
oh yeah, no, not yet. Work in progress.
yet.
Work in progress.
Yeah.
Ben
I-
has
no,
to
I
get out of the
barely-
picture first.
I barely even know you. What is
Yeah,
this?
I mean,
A
we've
Disney
all-
movie?
Yeah, no. We've only had a podcast for like 4 years. We've only known each other since elementary school. Definitely don't know each other at all.
Out where they run, out where they stay all day in the
Sean,
sun.
once you insist on us getting a copyright strike every
Water.
single episode.
Of course, you know it is crazy. Oh my gosh, Nikki.
You know what else is crazy?
What?
That